This is what I like to call the strength and energy reset. Okay, so this is for men who are over 100 kilos and you want to get below 90, but you also want to get stronger. And obviously, comes with that will be more confidence, but you want to do it sustainably without living in the gym, but also without tracking every calorie. So, before we get going, what we need to do is just a little bit of housekeeping. So, if you put a one in the Zoom chat just to make sure that you can hear me, that'd be great. Thank you. Then I always recommend putting your phone away, right? I know I've got my phone here, but I'm going to put it down here, face down, just for the next 45 minutes because I want you to really pay attention. I want you to get so much out of this that you can go away and apply it for yourself. Okay. So also on that note, take notes because loads of this stuff is going to be actionable tonight. And after the call, I'll stay behind. If you've got any questions, you can ask me any questions you like about your journey, where you're at, what you should be doing, ask me, and I can help you out. So, and also number five is just remind me to hit record a call. So I think I've already done that. So we're good to go. So also why you should stick around to the end. So I'm going to teach you how to drop body fat whilst eating normal food. So this isn't a strict restrictive diet. This is normal food, the food that you actually like to eat and how I'm going to teach you how to eat but shred body fat at the same time, but also how to train properly in under 45 minutes. So you do not have to live in the gym. And then thirdly, the biggest mistake that I see men over 100 kilos and it keeps them stuck in the same start Monday cycle, which turns out to be start monthly and it turns out to be our start at the turn of the new year. So how to negate this and actually have habits that stick and make you move and progress towards your goal. And then I've got a special bonus for free men at the end with my coaching program. Crazy, crazy offer. So if we move on, so a little bit about me. Why should you trust me? Who am I? So I've helped hundreds of men get leaner and stronger over the last 10 years. So I've personally been a coach for more than 10 years and I've also owned a gym for more than 9 years as well. I've trained women as well, but mainly my speciality is making sure men get stronger, leaner, build muscle, but also burn fat whilst retaining muscle. And on top of that, so I've had my PT business, I run the gym, we also had a cafe. So I've been able to build my physique whilst being busy, and I know exactly what it takes to help you guys get there in that exact same position. So just want to show you a few of the results that we've had recently that have come in. So this is Adam. Um, he's super busy. So he travels a lot for work. He's got a senior role at work. But when he came to me, he was low on energy. He felt like he'd lost his confidence. And he'd been over 100 kgs actually for more than 10 years. So we've managed to get him to under 100 kg for the first time in 10 years, which is amazing. This has happened just last month as well. So now his strength's gone through the roof. He feels way stronger. He's leaner and he's just more consistent. He's in a routine and he actually looks forward to training. So this is amazing. Next one, obviously he's got the same name, Adam. Another guy came to me. He's busy, busy at work. He's a graphic designer, so he works flat out. He's actually just started his first family as well. So he's got a kid on the way, but he's managed to do this whilst being busy at work and whilst having a kid, which is amazing. So when he came to me, he was around 104 kilos, and now he's down to about 92. And I think he wants to push on and get to about 90. But he looks amazing already. So you can see his abs. He's got a crazy definition coming through. So obviously he's in the strongest position he's ever been in. He feels stronger and he feels back in control of his routine. And this one came in yesterday. So this is Jack. So he's only been on the program for 13 weeks, but this is exactly what type of results are possible if you just stick to everything, all the food guide that we're going to go over later on and all the food principles. Jack has hit it down to a T, and he's been on holiday. So he's been in Japan for 2 weeks. I literally posted this on my Instagram today. And we had the World Cup. So he was out having a few beers, having some takeaways, relaxing a little bit, and he still managed to lose 14 kilos in 13 weeks, which is amazing. But it all comes down to the habits that he's built. And he hasn't really tracked a single calorie. He's just followed the simple food advice that I've given him. So this is amazing. So these are the type of results that you can expect to achieve if you just follow the basics really, really well. So at the moment, tell me if you feel like this. So you're feeling like you're carrying a physical strain with your body and everything that should be simple feels harder right now. So that's in terms of breathless going upstairs, your knees or your joints are aching. Maybe it's affecting your sleep as well, or maybe just you're uncomfortable on flights or sort of long car journeys. And generally, typically, you might be avoiding any physical activities. And these are a lot of things that I speak to in gents when I'm having consultations and they're telling me this is how they're feeling at the moment. And a lot of the things I hear a lot of the time is I know what to do, but I just struggle staying consistent because of busy schedule, work stress, family, the whole, oh, we start on Monday, and then like I said earlier, Monday turns into next Monday, turns into next month, and then it turns into I'll start in Jan. But if you don't feel like yourself anymore, and this is what a lot of people, a lot of gents say to me, look, when I was younger, I used to be able to train, eat anything. I've had loads of energy and I just don't feel like myself anymore. Maybe you're struggling to find clothes that fit. So a lot of gents say that they're sat down, they're pulling on their shirt, trying to hide their stomach in their clothes, and your confidence is lower than it used to be, and you avoid being in family photos or just in photos in general, or you feel conscious about yourself in photos. And the biggest one is you're worried about your long-term health, because we all know that there comes a certain point where actually being over 110, 120 kilos or over 100 kilos, depending on your height, it can actually be a long-term health trigger. And it's something that we just sort about, or something that we need to fix in order for you to be around for your family, be a good role model, etc., etc. So these are all the things that I commonly hear. Now, when you're in that mindset, it tends to lead us to an all or nothing mindset. And these are the three mistakes that I see happen all the time when gents first come to me. So the first one is going too extreme because you're fed up, you want to make a change, and you just want to go in and do everything all at once. And these are the diets that I see that I completely disagree with. It's the keto diet. You just cut carbs out completely, or you cut everything out that you enjoy. Okay. So whether that's alcohol, chocolate, desserts, some people cut out yogurts, honey, even, you just cut out everything you enjoy, and you stick to these unsustainable diets where you stick to them for about 2 weeks, and then what happens is you get burnt out, and then you go back to your old ways of eating because you haven't learned any new habits. Now, mistake number two is thinking that cardio is the answer. And this is another similar thing that I see all the time. Okay. So it's the same idea. Your mindset is, look, I just want to burn as much fat as possible. And then what happens is, okay, I'm going to hit the treadmill, I'm going to hit the bike, the cross trainer, or you end up doing like a high impact cardio workout. Then your joints start flaring up because they're not used to carrying so much weight. HIIT workouts. And inside your brain, you're thinking that sweating as much as possible equals fat loss, when in reality, it doesn't really work like that. But I can understand why people think that. So another thing is you avoid strength training, not for any particular reason. Maybe you're not comfortable in the gym scenario, or you think it's not the best solution for your fat loss, which it is, but we tend to avoid that. People tend to avoid that in these situations. And then after doing, say, cutting out your carbs, doing all these high intense workouts, again, you end up burning out after 2 weeks. And then you think, oh, well, that's not for me. I'll go back to where I was in the first place. And alongside that, like I said earlier, is the all or nothing mindset. But this carries on to if you have like a bad meal or a bad day, you let it just take over and ruin everything. So if you go out for dinner on a Friday night, you have a few drinks, you wake up on Saturday, you think, you know what, I've ruined my diet now. I'm gonna eat whatever I can on Saturday, and then eat whatever you want on Sunday, and then suddenly you've let your meal on Friday just ruin everything, and then Monday comes, and then you can't be bothered to get back into the routine. And then, but by Thursday or Friday, you might be feeling good again, and then you get stuck in that same cycle. So it's teaching you the habits and allowing room for this in your life. This is what we call obviously the 80-20 diet. This is what we've incorporated into the staple method, is allowing yourself to feel like you're living your life fully, and you're not fully restricted, if that makes sense. And that enables you to be sustainable and therefore stick to the program for longer and get better results. So this is how we do things on the staple method. So this is what I've realized after coaching hundreds of men, women as well, is that simplicity is the key to making it sustainable and achievable. So generally, like I just said, something that you can stick to for longer is obviously gonna tenfold your chances of getting better results. It's just as simple as that. So I'm going to teach you. You can take this away with you today. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. And this is exactly what I do with my clients to achieve those results that we spoke about earlier. So number one, how we do it on the staple method is obviously it's all delivered through an app. And on my app, I've got recipe booklets for breakfast, lunches and dinners, snacks and desserts. And the reason why I've done it this way, I've calculated for each individual person how much they need to eat in order to elicit fat loss. So when someone logs in, they've got a variety of choices of breakfast, lunches and dinners and snacks, like I said, and they just have to go onto the app, they click, but they can only choose one of each, right? I have to caveat that. So they go on, they choose one breakfast, and we like to plan their week so you can get your shopping list. So they choose one breakfast, one lunch, one dinner for every day, and a couple of snacks throughout the day. Doing it this way saves you having to count your calories. So they know by eating one of each of these, sometimes two snacks or two desserts, you know you're going to be on track. And every meal is high in protein, it's calorie controlled, via me, so you don't have to add it up. They're easy to make and they fit into your real life. So this is to save you tracking calories and tracking every morsel and weighing things. So this makes life easier, but obviously, if you don't have access to that, I'm going to teach you how you can apply this to yourself so you can go away and do and use the safer method, but use it at home. So step one, in order to find out how much food you need to eat to be in a calorie deficit, we need to find out your maintenance first. Now, it's not a perfect science, like it says, but this is a very, very good starting point. And this is where we start with most of our clients, if I'm honest. And then we start to tweak things after a few weeks because everyone is different. You're going to have different schedules. You're going to have obviously different jobs. You're going to walk more. Some people are going to train more and train less. So it's a sliding scale, and we need to get to know your body, how it works, and then we can personalize it from there. But this is the very basics of it. So you're going to take your body weight. A lot of gents I work with are between 240 and 260 pounds at the start, 220 sometimes as well. But let's say you weigh 240 pounds, we're going to times it by 13 and you get 3,160. So guesstimation says that's your maintenance. So if you was to eat that, you would literally maintain your weight. You wouldn't gain weight or wouldn't lose weight. So we need to find out. But what we're going to do is we want to start straight away and try and guess your fat loss calories. So we're going to minus 500. That's a nice sustainable deficit. Now you're going to eat 2,620, or say 2,600 for a nice even number. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go away and you're going to eat these calories for 2 weeks. And then you're going to track your weight at the start and track your weight at the end. Now we're going to have a clear picture of, are we in the ballpark area of a good fat loss or a good deficit, I should say, right? So obviously after the end of the 2 weeks, if you've maintained your weight, we know that that's your maintenance. If you gain weight, it means you're probably a little bit too sedentary, I would say, or it means that, yeah, we need to lower your calories. But if you've lost weight, great. How much weight have we lost? Do we need to adjust it? So you just keep it on top of things, okay? So this is where I would like you to start. Then also, I should say actually within this, let's say you're on 2,600 calories. Within that, you need to look at your protein as well. And for any gent who's over 100 kilos, the simple rule of thumb that works really well until you get below 100 kilos, and then we'll readjust it. But when you're above 100 kilos, the simple rule of thumb is between 180 and 200 grams of protein every single day, non-negotiable. That's on the weekends, which are easy to get on the weekends, right? You're going out and you're having chicken and like whatever you want, but in the week it's actually a little bit harder. Okay, so but bear that in mind. So write down, work out your calories, and then I want you to add up to make sure you're having at least 180 grams or 200 grams of protein per day, 7 days a week, and that's non-negotiable. Cool. So next one. So how do you know? So you've got your food, but now how do you work out what calories are in each meal? And you've got two options. So this is how you can sort of create your own sort of staple method at home. Is you can either track via an app called MyFitnessPal, and that's really good for literally seeing and analyzing what's inside your food. You're also going to learn portion sizes with this, and you're going to use it just to understand your calorie intake, but you have to track daily, right? You can use MyFitnessPal, or you can create your own personalized meal structure like I've done on the staple method, and you can create a bank of say 4 breakfasts. Breakfast is a really easy one to keep repeating because typically we eat the same breakfast day in, day out, or you have 2 or 3. I literally eat the same breakfast every day. I'm not even bored of it yet. I've done this for about 6 months. But choose maybe 3 or 4 lunches, 5 or 6 dinners to keep it interesting, and calorie count all of those dinners and save them as a bank and make sure they fit within your 2,600 calorie target if that was your number, okay? And then write them down. So I've got a lot of clients who use the Gusto meals, HelloFresh, etc., and it's just like a recipe card. So create a bank of all your recipes that you personally like eating. Make sure they're high in protein. It can literally be anything, a high protein pizza. You can make your own version of chicken burgers. Make it fun. Use as much seasoning as you like, and save them as recipe cards. And then as long as you're eating from these recipe cards, you're going to be on track. The only thing you need to worry about now is when you're adjusting foods, but this is how exactly you should do it. Now, we've got your food sorted. So you've got your calories, you've got your recipe sorted now. We need to make sure you're moving. So I don't like to drop clients' calories too much because I always want you to be moving as much as possible because therefore you can eat a little bit more food and you don't feel too restricted. So typically what I've seen is between 10 and 12,000 steps per day. And this is average throughout the week. So if you want to do it on a weekly basis, you can. I would actually add up your steps and then divide it by 7 to get your daily average. So I'm actually, when I say this, I actually want it to be 10 and 12,000 steps daily average. Some days it'll be more, sometimes it'll be less. Depends on how active you are in your physical job. Okay, so some people are quite physical, you don't need to do too much. Some people are going to train more, so your steps can come down. But this is a nice ballpark figure. The reason why we go for 10 to 12,000 steps is because over cardio is because this is a lot easier for fat loss. It's a lot easier to get your mind right because you can do this on the way to work, you can do it at work, you can do it after work. But if you have to go back to the gym and do a second cardio session, it's just laborious. You just do not want to do it. This is also going to help you reduce your stress. It's going to give you more energy, and it's just this more of a sustainable way of doing it. So please, please, please track your steps and lock them in, and then we'll talk about how to track this at the end as well. So this is your ballpark figure for those. Now, this is probably the second most important thing that you need to do is you need to follow a structured strength program. And the reason why I say this is so important because if you're over 100 kilos, I can guarantee you've built some muscle on your frame and we do not want to waste it. So you've got two types of tissue on your body at the moment, or two main types, right? You've got your body fat and you've got muscle. And when you gain weight, you gain muscle and you gain body fat. It's not just fat. So there are some benefits, okay? So what we want to do is we want to maximize how much muscle we've built and we want to keep it on our frame. And how we can do that is by creating a stimulus to the body to say, hey, I need this muscles to survive. And how you do that is by with a structured strength training program. So lifting weights, but with a heavy intensity. So any strength training program you follow has to be followed week in, week out, so you can see your progressive overload, but also to a high intensity. Now, if you've got 3 days to train, I would say a nice way to do it. This is my personal preference. I know some people prefer 3 full body days, but I guarantee you will enjoy this. Upper, lower, and then full body. So you're hitting everything twice a week. And you can do those in 3 45-minute sessions as well. If you've got a little bit more time to train, so you're going to train 4 days a week, just do upper, lower, upper, lower. Okay, you have to train your legs just as much as your upper body, unfortunately, but because these are the things, these are your powerhouse, right? And you need this strength. As you're going into your 40s and going into your 50s, legs are one of the most important muscles that you have. So if you do want to train 5 days a week or 6 days a week, just give me a DM and I can give you the splits I recommend for that. But I would say these two splits I've seen work really, really well. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie it all in together. And accountability is probably the biggest aspect of your adherence to the program. So on my program, I'm checking in what my clients are up to on a daily basis. I'm making sure they're getting to the gym when they don't feel like it. If they've got the time, say if they just don't feel like it, I know they've got time, but they're a little bit tired, I make sure they get to the gym. And I'm looking over their shoulder the whole time, making sure they're actually sticking to or doing the things they say they're going to do. If you don't have someone looking over your shoulder and helping you do that, these are the ways that you can help yourself stay accountable. So the number one thing is I would now write down 3 people you feel comfortable texting, and you're going to say, you're going to tell these people that you're starting a new program. Obviously, it's just if it's just you doing your program, tell them that you're starting a new program and be like, just text them saying, hey, John, just wanted to let you know that I'm reaching out to let you know I'm starting a new program. I'm taking it seriously, and I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. What that does is it makes you feel instantly accountable because the next time you see John, he's going to say to you, how's your program going? And you don't want to seem like you're not someone who doesn't do what they say they're going to do. So you're going to do it. Text more than 3 people, text as many people as you can, right? And that's just the first stage of it. But this is how you're going to help yourself stay accountable. Get a little notepad. If you're a techie guy, go on Google Sheets and create a nice little sort of spreadsheet tracker. And weekly on a Friday morning, Friday night at worst, but Friday morning is the best time. Go to the toilet, hop on your scales and write down your body weight. Then you're going to take pictures of yourself in the mirror, just topless or whatever, or get your wife or your partner to take some pictures of you. And then you're going to look on your phone and see how many steps you've done that week. Just do Friday to Friday. It doesn't have to be Sunday to Sunday. How many steps you've done in a week divided by 7, that's your daily average. That's the number that we're looking for, not total number. Just do daily average. And then how many workouts did you say you was going to do versus how many you did? And that's going to give you your consistency. And then I want you to rate your week in terms of how it went out of 10. So just give yourself a score out of 10 in terms of how well you adhered to your program, and just write down any feelings about your energy. Are you feeling tired? And then just look at this as a whole. And over the 10, 12, 15, 16 weeks, you're going to have a much better idea of what works for you personally, because sometimes the lines between each week can get a little bit blurred, if that makes sense. So having all the data there, you can make better decisions, and it's just raw data for you to make, yeah, better informed decisions, not emotional decisions when you're tired at week 12, but you knew it was working on week 10, but you decide to change the whole program just because you're tired. But if you look back at your data, you can say, do you know what, it's working for 10 weeks. Maybe I just need to take a rest week and then come back in. So that's why we need as much data as possible to be able to make those decisions. So all of these, after saying all of this, what you have is you've got three options, okay? So you can absorb all of this knowledge and you can just try and remember it, or just ignore it and go away and just keep doing what you're doing and then keep getting the same results that you've always got, okay? So I definitely 100% would not recommend doing that. Now, the second one is you try to apply this yourself. So I hope you take some notes and you understand what I'm saying and go away and you try and apply this yourself, because I guarantee you it will work. And your third option is to get help and speed up your process of going from A to B. So speed up from going from over 100 kilos to under 90 kilos within 12 to 16 weeks, and we'll build a plan together. So it's entirely up to you which one you want to do. So if you do want to help applying this properly to yourself, I've opened up 3 spots for men. I've actually just got 2 because one person signed up earlier. Who want more energy, you want better structure around your training, your food, how to fit it into your life. But more importantly, you want someone to hold you accountable, be there for you when you're stuck, you're traveling, you don't know what to eat out. You need someone over your shoulder looking over. And if you do want to get under 90 kilos for good, then just reach out and let me know, because I've got a really good offer on at the moment. If you want to find out what it is, just DM me the word offer on Instagram or on WhatsApp if we've been speaking on WhatsApp. Just let me know and I can get straight back to you. So they've just got 2 more spots left for that. So now I'm going to open up the room for questions. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Questions to do with where you're at in terms of your journey right now, how you get on with your training, etc. No question is a stupid question. So please ask me, because I'd love to give you as much detail as you can with where you are at right now.